Good morning. Denise Dryden, live from Whitefish, Montana. And this is my weekly video cast where we talk about different things that come up in coaching, different things that come up in parent retreats and family workshops, and things that really provide some guidance for relationships and tools. So today I want to talk about forgiveness. And last week we talked about what happens when we go numb, when we sort of cut our emotions off at the neck and we live from our heads up. You know, I'm just managing life every day in my head, and I'm a little afraid to go down deep underneath. And what happens when we numb out is that we block the hurt, of course. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you online. Send me questions if you want. If we numb out, we hold on to hurt, we hold on to pain, we hold on to grudges, and we hold on to this like bitterness, like, life has been so bad for me, or I have been hurt and I'm unhappy and we're stuck and there's this like total absence of joy. There's no ecstasy. We block everything. So part of what we did last week was talk about what happens when we block. And today I want to talk about how forgiveness is part of that block and what happens when we get stuck in sort of bitterness and grudges. So I came across this LinkedIn group. They're a group of therapists, and you know, they talk about the same kind of things that I do all the time: coaches, therapists, everything. And Judith Belmont, who's a therapist in this group of clinicians, said one of the most difficult burdens that weighs us down, one of the most difficult burdens that weigh us down by bitterness and grudges is how we continue to torment ourselves by the sense that we've been wronged. That we've been wronged, that we've actually, someone's done something to us and we've been wronged. And so when we know that that is the essence of forgiveness, is that we're holding on to something that happened to us where we felt wronged. So what that really means is we're going along, we have an idea of where we want to go and what we want to do. And something comes along and just knocks us off, whether it's a remark made by a spouse, and a fight with a child. It can be something really minuscule. It could be a grade you get in college. It could be something that just rocks you and goes, wait a minute. And it could be really much bigger, like finding out that that your partner's having an affair, or that there's a divorce or a death or a tragic incident happens to you where you feel, where you have months of recovery. You know, we can go from the minuscule to the very, very big. The essence of it is that when that happens, it changes us into a different direction. It knocks us on to a path that we did not intend, and we're not sure that we really want to be on it. That regretful thing happened. We get stuck again in our head, playing it over and over and over again. And it's called looping, perseveration. It's called a lot of different things, but it's like, this happened to me and I'm going to hold on to it. And we focus on our hurts, and we focus on our struggles, and we focus on our pain. And when we do that, we are sitting in the energy of the victim. We allow that victim energy to come in and take over and say, you know what? Why bother? I'm going to sit right here with my arms crossed, and I'm going to feel all that pain all the time because somehow that is the role that I choose to play. And so what I'm going to do is invite you to go back, and maybe there's an episode back on YouTube now through Facebook on the 4 levels of engagement. And it's some work that I've done with Alan Seal, which is, drama situation, which is this looping, managing stress, or stepping into choice and opportunity. And when we step into choice, real choice, what we do is we transform things. We allow ourselves to become really powerful, like super powerful. I'm going to choose something different. We stop defining ourselves by the regrettable event, and we start looking at a way that we can release its hold on us. So why would we do that? Why would we want to step into choice? Well, when we choose to let go of the hurts that we associate with that person and event and circumstance, we let go of the victim role, right? The victim just sort of nicely starts to float out. We allow something else to enter, which means that I used an analogy a couple times of holding a beach ball down underneath the water. It's like, this is hard. And then after a while, your arms go numb and you sit there and all of your energy in your body is aimed at holding this beach ball down under the water. And then when you give someone 2 beach balls, they don't have a lot of room for anything else in their life. So depending on how many things you have going on, you could be really preoccupied with holding these pains and these judgments and these hurts down. We don't access our emotions, all of them. So we might not be able to access the pain. We might block that hurt, but we also block joy and ecstasy and all those really fun things. The other thing I discovered was that when we hold on to a grudge and we will not forgive someone, what we do is we actually block the door to gratefulness. There's nothing we can be grateful for when we're holding on to a pain. So, we have all these things on the, on the internet, especially around January and starting about on, ways to be grateful, ways to change your life, ways to shift it. And I'm saying that we can't open the door to gratefulness until we find out what we haven't forgiven someone for. We haven't forgiven ourselves for. Because what we do is we transform the energy around it in our bodies. We're not saying that that person didn't do something that was really egregious, something that should never have happened. What we're saying is I'm refusing to define myself any longer by that event. Love it. I refuse to define myself at all by what happened to me. Whether I'm a divorced mom, whether I had 10 years of horrible financial pain, whatever that is for you, if we hold on to it, what happens is it holds us in a slot that we don't want to be in anymore. And there's no movement, there's no growth, there's a lot of energy holding it down, and it keeps us stuck. So choose something different is what I'm saying. When we transform the energy out of that grudge into, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to stop holding on to that and defining myself. We become powerful and we change our future. We allow, yes, that path that we were heading down to take a dramatic turn. And then we start to own that turn. And we start to say, so now that I'm here and facing this direction, what am I going to do? What's the best path ahead of me from here? And, after these things happen a couple times and you learn how to transform these stuck, opinions, then it becomes a lot easier to accept change. And it becomes a lot easier to grow through change. So, I spent the weekend, or the prior part of this week with retreat from families that have some adolescent teens that have been in therapeutic programs. And there were just so many stories of the conflicts at home, the worry, the fear, the drugs, the school failure, the property damage, the expenses of program, of therapists, of doctors, of wilderness, of everything. And there was so much pain there. And so I brought this quote in, which said, are you holding on to being wronged? That you had the perfect family until so-and-so started acting out. That may not be true. Because what I always talk about is that the person who takes us through that change is like the point of an arrow. And they pierce through a wall. They pierce through a rigidity. They pierce through a plan that was not intended for us. And they take us in a new direction. And so when we harbor that we've been wronged in this process, what we do is we forget to sort of collect all of the things we need with us on this journey and start in a new direction. And look at love, look at communication, look at understanding why someone would accelerate their behavior like that. And then the whole family system starts to heal. We take ownership of our lives and we start living in what's possible instead of what was. So when we transform something, all the energy tied up in holding it into that pain or emotion or judgment is freed. And I'll leave you with the quote by Gandhi, which was one of my favorites. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. So be strong, be powerful, be courageous, and go in and find out, where do I hold on to these pieces of feeling wronged by the world, and what am I going to do about that? So this is the kind of stuff I do when I coach, and these weekly blogs or video blogs, video casts are on Facebook, so you can always go back and look at some more. You can access them through DeniseDrydenCoaching.com, and have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.